sorry, I lied. It was actually pretty good. I know I gotta get a lot of hate for all the Star Wars nerds and all the Star Wars hardcore watchers, but yes, it is great. You know, I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Yeah, it's not that bad, but also it's probably something something. Yes, I finally finished the book of Boba Fett. And yes, I'm trying to read from The Mandalorian Season 1, 2, and 3. But my friend told me you gotta watch the book of Boba Fett first to watch, The Mandalorian Season 3. Because it has some connection about Season 3. And wait, let me explain first. Hold on, I know what you're gonna say. Calm down, Star Wars fans. Calm down. You see my hands here? You're saying to calm down. I was going to review The Mandalorian Season 1, Season 2 first, but then I have the thought I'm just going to watch the whole thing first instead of the seasons, just like an Invincible like Season 3, because, it takes a while. So I am going to review the Book of Boba Fett instead of, the entire Mandalorian until I reach The Mandalorian Season 3. And I heard a lot of talk about like the Mandalorian the Book of Boba Fett is being like absolute dog water or bantha fodder. And I hope YouTube doesn't understand Star Wars slangs because that stands for something that will get me demonetized as soon as possible. So Book of Boba Fett. I don't know why everybody was so mad at this and everybody said this thing sucks so much, bantha poodoo. But I think it was pretty okay. Now I'll talk about the main complaints later, but we're doing the usual. We're rating on the 10 stuff. Recently, Moist Critical said rest in peace to the Moist meter, and because he was like I don't know what to give like random numbers to got any kind of movies because it wouldn't be so accurate. But I use my accuracy. Okay, we're starting from script, some backgrounds, and music and action and choreography, and then we get to the main 5 stuffs as well. So let's start with the Book of Boba Fett. We're starting off from the song. Well, yeah, everything is good. The song was okay. I really like the main theme of Boba Fett. But there's the thing. The one problem is I don't listen to any other song. All I know is the book is just the Mandalorian theme and just Boba Fett's theme when in the beginning and the end. It didn't give me hype. That's half a point. We're already off to a bad start. Half a point is the background and the location. Yes, mostly it happens in Tatooine, but in the second half it started to go somewhere else, like in somewhere in Asia because I don't know. Luke Skywalker made his own Jedi temple in Asia because I've seen a lot of bamboo, and it's mostly happening in Tatooine. And whenever they go to Tatooine, all I ever see is just one part of the town, and it's just one outskirts of the town. And mostly it's somewhere in the desert where they're talking about the Tuscans and, mostly it's just in Tatooine. And whenever they're in a city, like in Mos Espa, they literally just had that one place just specifically there. And I don't know if the rest is CGI, I think the rest were built. And let's talk about the action. Gosh, that's where I really don't want to talk about. This is where we're getting to some spoilers. So, because the first 2 weren't spoilers. Now they're getting so very close to the spoilers. Okay. Action. The choreography was absolute. I don't know. Dank Farrick. I don't really know because there's some really good ones and there's some really bad ones. For example, the Vespa chase scene that everyone's talking about. And also the way some people shoot. I really don't like the way in Star Wars where they just shoot just other people at close range and somehow miss. I get it, it's Star Wars blasters and everything. The blasters some of them look weird, and I don't know because maybe it doesn't correlate to actual like shooting. I don't know if there actually is correlate to actual shooting to blaster shooting. Most likely, next is the effects, the CGI and stuff, and all the costumes and other stuff. That is also another half point because there's some good CGI. There's some also I seen something that I should not see, but most of the costumes are really great and everything was fine. There's nothing bad about it. I mean, Star Wars CGI has become better actually. The blaster fires are the most entertaining thing I ever seen in my entire life. I can keep looking at a blaster fire as much as I want to see in the sky, the stars in the skies. All right, we're done with the five, and I'll put the points down there later. Now let's talk about the biggest issues and also the other five of what I want to talk about. Now, the biggest issues here, I already asked a few of my friends that what is the biggest issue of being the book of Boba Fett being absolute dog water. It's because only a few of them or literally are talking about Boba Fett, and the rest of the episode is just literally just Mando or Din Djarin and everybody else. It's basically it should have been the Mandalorian season 2.1 instead of the Book of Boba Fett, because there's little much stories about the Book of Boba Fett. Now, yes, the lore is like Boba was back, and now we have to take control of Tatooine. He's the daimyo there, and he needs to get rid of competitors, not just competitors, also drug dealers. Spice dealers and spice mines and stuff, and there's start a war, blah blah blah, which has gotten to me as one of the boring parts of the Book of Boba Fett. I really didn't care that much about Boba Fett talking about politics and stuff. Yeah, I really think of Boba Fett as just more of a just a cool, bad poodoo fighting, he's a cool guy who just fights, the usual bounty hunting stuff like in Mando. But a lot of people really want to see more Mando and Boba Fett action because, come on, it's both Mandalorians, both bounty hunters, working side by side, and we do get that in the ending. Now, it is very important for the ending to be great because I want to talk about the ending too and from the beginning. But let's not talk about that. I think Boba Fett is almost a good character, except every time they just wanted to talk their backstory, he has to literally go to his gamer girl bathtub and just take a dip and sleep. I don't know why they had to go back. I really thought they could have just started with episode 1, 2, and 3, or the other episodes of him just being at the Tusken. It doesn't have to go back and then go forward back to where he is now. It could have just stick to the usual timeline instead of just going back. That makes it really boring to continue, because I really was invested of him, working together and being part of the Tusken Raiders, and instead of the whole taking over Mos Espa and negotiating and politics and stuff. I really liked. Yeah, the first episode was really confusing, and so was the second and third episode, because I actually like about his adventures and his trustworthy with the Tuskens. I really liked it because that's little bits of Star Wars lore, because the more about lore, knowing about the small lore of origins of the Tusken Raiders, what do they do and what do they stuff, and I kind of like that. Just like in Mandalorians, they have their own culture and everything. We don't have to explore more about Jedi and stuff. That's what I like about Star Wars. There's other things that are more important, and then there's more characters that I really don't like. Let's say Fennec. Yeah, Fennec was he's a good character for eye candy, because he was just so cool. He was cool and a sharpshooter in it, and he just does badass stuff. But he doesn't have any much character. He doesn't have anything add. He was just it's just a bodyguard for Boba Fett. His quarrel is already done. He was already made a deal with Boba Fett, and he could have just leave any time, but he doesn't. I don't know why he kept them. I think he could just add more to his character, instead of her just being a super cool bounty hunter who's good at shooting and stuff. And that's it. That's most of the characters that most importantly in the Book of Boba Fett. It's just Boba and Fennec. The rest are just memories or memoirs, what happened to Jabba, and then what happened to Bib Fortuna. They keep repeating the same thing every time, to remind me, Mos Espa belongs to me now. and I will do this and exactly that. He keeps repeating the same thing, and Boba keeps telling the things he needs to do, which I'm pretty sure it makes it a little bit more boring and makes it more obvious and corny. And it would have been way better if it just continues with just him with working together with the Tusken Raiders. I really can't remember most of the half of the episodes because it's just mostly about Boba Fett trying to control most Espa and entirely of Tatooine to to fight these spice guys. So it doesn't make me more confused than ever than why they had to do this. They could have just done this instead. But the half of the other episodes were good and also were not too good. It's just Mando or Din back again doing his classic stuff, and him most importantly doing, finding Grogu when he went to the back to the Jedi planet where you see Luke Skywalker. As I said, I will talk about the CGI Luke. I'll just talk about it right now. I really don't like it. It's like some kind of face filter they put in in an Instagram app, and then it just doesn't look good. It just looks corny as hell. The most entertaining part of the book of Boba Fett is just either the Boba Fett, learning the way of the Tusken Raiders, and Mando being there in the action, and includes the ending of the book of Boba Fett, which has a really good ending. Maybe not good, but okay. Now, spoilers for the ending, for those who don't know, but I already mentioned there are already spoilers. It was great. To me, it was great. The action, though, could have a little bit more to it, and that's all I had to say. It could have been more action. They could have more screen time with Din and Boba working together, and most importantly, there was actually no build up to all of it. It doesn't seem like it's a tense thing, because obviously they're gonna win. But also it doesn't makes it great because there was like no intensity until the end from the coordinated attack. It was pretty fine until the whole attack happened. I can't do not. The most entertaining part is literally Din and Grogu working together. That's all I know. And then most of the episode is just also, Din working with, making his new starship, new Naboo starfighter. That's just all that. Most of it is just literally Din and Grogu working together. Not even Boba Fett could get, more recognition than this. Which I understand. There are some people who really like to complain about that. Why the book of Boba Fett is like this. Now for the ending, I really liked it, including, spoiler, Cad Bane being there. I really love Cad Bane since the Clone Wars. I think he's still badass as ever, but the only thing I don't like about Cad Bane is every time he talks, he just keeps doing this. I don't understand, maybe because his species does that when he gets older. That doesn't matter. I think he was still pretty cool, and I think you should still watch it. It wasn't that intense, but because I think it's because he's really old. He couldn't do too much, except just being the fastest gun in the West or the fastest blaster in the galaxy. That's all I have to say about Cad Bane. I don't want to spoil it too much, but yeah, that's it. Now after watching it again and reviewing it and asking all my friends on their opinions, plug it in a moist meter. Not a moist meter. I'm giving the Book of Boba Fett a solid. Let me see. Well, depending on people liked it or not, I'm giving it a solid 6. Yeah. Well, 6.5, I guess, 7, because I still do enjoy the ending and Din and Grogu and Boba Fett learning with the Tuskens. The other stuff is absolutely boring, and the action is still, terrible. The music could use something else. But anyways, yeah, that's pretty good for me. If you want to watch the Book of Boba Fett, then I don't want to, I don't want to disappoint you or anything. If you want to watch it, go ahead, watch it. I put it at 6.5. And you're going to have to watch it if you want to continue Mandalorian Season 3. Because I'm continuing Mandalorian Season 3. Yeah, that's it. Sorry for not uploading that much, but I will probably make 2 videos after this, or maybe a double upload. Yeah.